The production team at the Three Quarters Podcast crew, which by the way is Kenya's premier video podcast, have summoned us today being 23rd of March 2017, from our usual lives. just by the way, we do have usual lives. We just don't sit down to shoot the podcast. Yeah. But we have been summoned to discuss what happened yesterday at the annual general meeting, yesterday being 22nd March 2017, the Kenya Rugby Union annual general meeting that was held at the Union grounds yesterday, 22nd March 2017. This is Ngashi, official noisemaker.
Jerry Goose, Kenyana.
And I am sure the public is aware of the fact that the union elections were slated for 22nd March 2017, being yesterday. I just want to read you the results of the election that happened yesterday. We had the chairman's elections being contested by three people: Richard Omwela, who was the incumbent, Alexander Sasha Mutai, and Rajinda Pape Sembi, who's the chairman of Western Bulls. So in that race, Richard Omwela garnered 25 votes, Alexander Mutai garnered 23 votes, and Pape Sembi garnered 9 votes. I'll just keep it short also and mention that the directors who were elected yesterday during the AGM were Ian Mugambi of Black Blood, who was re-elected by the way, Sylvia Kamau of Strathmore, Ray Olendo of Cabras Sugar, and Ezekiel Owor of Kenya Harlequins, who were freshly elected to the Kenya Rugby Union Board. Which takes us to our discussion, Kusale. What are your thoughts on the people who've been elected / re-elected to serve on the union board?
Well, I don't think I can give a personal opinion about them as people, but with the elections now we've seen that the incumbent chairman has been re-elected, and one of the directors. The rest is a new team, that we haven't yet experienced.
Yes.
And what we'd like to see is a cohesive team. And one that can work together and move the game forward. Yes. The people need to realize that the elections are done now, and all you can hope for is they just gel.
Yes. The question I throw to the general public is, and I'm sure this comment is going to irk some people, but the truth has to be said, is that I think the stakeholders of rugby in Kenya are number one, the players, and number two, the fans.
Actually, those are the people who should matter something.
Exactly. Those are the stakeholders of the game.
The largest.
Yes. The truth and the fact of the matter is that the club officials are there to represent the will
of the people,
their players and their fans. I do not feel, in all honesty, that the key stakeholders of the game, being the fans and the players, were represented in this election.
The results
that came out in this election
yesterday.
Yes. And by the way, I say this specifically focusing on the chairman election. I don't feel like it was reflected, and this by the way I've just picked up from the players before and after the election. This I've picked up from our inbox. We're just discussing before we went. We started shooting. Is that we are getting messages on our inboxes about
how they wish that the results would have turned out
differently. One, two. The mood seems to be very deflated.
It's like this is what I think the situation is. Guys are not happy with what the situation was. Let's say the past 2 years. No offense to the chairman, who's just been re-elected. So guys were ready for change, I suppose. Whether it was Pape or Sasha, guys wanted something changed, because we talked to players before the elections, like let's say the last few months running up to yesterday, being the 22nd. You could see guys wanted the change, and that happened only with the directors, but not the chairman. That is the head. So if you want to change, this may sound a bit bad. If you want the tail to stop wagging,
you cut off the head. That's true. They say that if you want the tail to stop wagging, you chop off the head, you cut off the head. And there are a couple of issues I've been asking myself, especially with regard to the current constitution of the union and
how the election
and how it should be, because I must say one of the things that was very good, and there was an amendment that was passed yesterday to the constitution of the union, and allowing now elected officials to serve a 4-year term, so you're entitled to two 4-year terms, which is very good because it allows you to do quite a lot.
Yeah, it gives you ample time to actually actualize your dreams and your goals for the game.
Yes.
So when you have 2 years, and then guys keep on fighting you and all that.
Yeah,
it kind of restricts you from doing your work.
But this only comes into play, of course, the 2019 AGM. So anyone elected at the 2019 AGM, then of course will be able to carry on with the 4 years. But there's some issues that you ask yourself. I mean, look at it, Musale, this way. In the Premier League, if there's a vote that's to be passed by the clubs, each club has one vote. Each club has one vote. The only difference is that the top 4 clubs, and depending on the way you finish in the pecking order, then you're entitled to more money. Whether it's from the sponsors, whether it's from the TV rights.
The TV rights for the union.
Exactly.
For the league.
Exactly. How is it that you are here and Kenya Cup are entitled to 2 votes each, and then Nationwide are entitled to 1 vote, and then you have this thing they talk about called the Kenya Cup caucus that sits down.
It is even confusing.
Yes.
Because then I don't think even most of the fans, even us guys, probably don't even have it 100% on how they vote. And then there's this thing, the issue of allowing the incumbents to vote.
Exactly.
So and yet the new ones are not allowed to.
The challengers are not being allowed to vote.
Why? It's a bit unfair.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah. If you were to, let's say I'm challenging you for opposition. And yet the only 2 votes that will count. If you vote, 3 votes that will count. Let's include the Wangeges.
Yes. let's include the production team. Yes.
If they were to vote for me and you can vote for yourself.
So what happens?
What happens?
It becomes an equal tie.
It
becomes a tie. Because you have one vote, you can't vote for yourself. So those are the small issues I feel need to be addressed.
With these you guys, I think they just need to amend that a few things about the election. When we come up with an election, after the Wakili, you can tell us where we can advise them a bit.
No, that we will talk later. That's our Monday to Friday job. But anyway, that having said that, the election is now over. What would you like? What's the message you'd be like? Would you like to pass over to the players? What's the message you'd like to pass over to the fans? And more importantly, what's the message you'd like to pass to the board that's in place right now?
To the players, do your job.
Yes.
Because you're there, because you love the game.
Yes.
Give it all, leave it all on the pitch. All these other politics does not involve you. Don't be involved. You just give it all, sweat it off, all on the pitch. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and especially Saturday, come play out.
Yes.
Play your heart out.
Yes.
And we'll be good. We'll be very grateful to that. And the fans come out.
Yes.
Come out and support these guys. So Kenya Cup is there every other weekend, and we're just about to get the playoffs.
Yes.
Come out and support the teams.
The
union officials that have just come in. The incumbent. If you have a different plan. Please try and execute it. And bring in these other guys, whether they were your people, the directors, or not. Try and bring them into the fold. We'll work together, and we'll push this game to greater heights than what it is right now.
Mine would just be that number one, again I repeat, the key stakeholders of the game of rugby in Kenya are number one, the players. Number two, the fans. The officials are there to represent these two parties. You're not there for your own gain, and we keep on saying that. You're not there for your own gain. Therefore, whatever you do in that position that you are, please know that there are these two people who need to be taken care of. The players need to be taken care of. The player welfare needs to be really considered by this board.
Player welfare, because those are the guys. If you have the players, there's no rugby.
Exactly. And they've been talking about. There have been conversations about player apathy and player unsatisfaction with the previous regime administration. That needs to change.
It needs to change a lot. And also, just a small rejoinder, with the interference with this couple of directors interfering with the player selection, let's say.
Yes.
Yeah, if you've delegated the duty to a coach, let the coach be. All you can do just be supportive.
Exactly.
And just assist.
And just that's true. The good thing is that it's a joke that's going out amongst the rugby community. The former director of national sports, has exited. He was voted out yesterday. I guess the people were quite vocal about how they felt the issue of 15s was handled. And they said the mango season is over. But anyway, having said that, we go back to what we've always talked about from the inception of the Three Quarters podcast. It's about the game of rugby 15s. The Road to Japan hashtag. You need to get onto the Road to Japan hashtag. Kenya Simbas are about to start their World Cup qualifiers, where they try to honor a spot at the Rugby World Cup in Japan in 2019. Despite all the shenanigans that are happening in the union, we do hope and we do pray that they are going to get their house in order, because the Kenya Simbas need to be in Japan in 2019. They deserve to be there.
Yep.
And we as Three Quarters podcast are asking the fans to jump onto the Road to Japan hashtag and support these boys. For the Kenya Simbas and for the 15s community at large, we keep playing the game. Forget about the shenanigans. I know some of you might be, or most of you might be quite disheartened with the events of yesterday. But look, we soldier on, we push on, and at some point, the will of the players will always, if our will is, the will of the players and the fans will always overcome the will of that of the officials.
Yep.
This has been our special segment on the Kenya Rugby Union elections. This is Gashi, official noisemaker.
Jeringus, Kenyana.
And keep it live, keep it locked. We'll be coming back with episode 17?
Episode 17.
Next week. Keep it live and keep it locked. Cheers.